Oh, the standard agent is a gatekeeper more than a professional advisor. Yeah, I think, look, in reality, I think there's a lot of agents out there that are gatekeepers to certain things, that it becomes this conceptual idea that they are a barrier to certain elements and that they are unnecessary to the process. Because again, that's the model that consumers, from a lot of the consumers that I talk to, think and believe. And so I think that really can be an element of it. Do I think that that's the norm? No, not at all. But I think that's a perception that we need to dramatically change.
And I think that some agents put themselves in that position as a gatekeeper. They want to protect everything. They want to control everything. They want to be there every step of the way with taking responsibility for so much, just picking up the poop that is part of it, or doing the dishes, or cleaning the house, or whatever it is, picking up the mail. You can't imagine how many agents will go and pick up the mail. They will do that, or they will get a phone call from their client who is on vacation, saying that they just heard from their neighbors that their basement is leaking, and now they need to fix it and they need to take care of it, and they drop everything and rush to help their clients. I don't think it's necessary. I never thought about it from the perspective of security, and then you're going to trip in that basement and break the leg, and what's going to happen next. That I didn't think of that, but it's very important. However, yes, I think there are more gatekeepers than agents who take pride and in what they do, and say no to their clients when they feel that they are losing. Well, you don't like the word value. I'm not crazy about it either, but they lose the value. They can bring something better to the table than just picking up the poop or doing something.
I can't wait to see the comments on what you just said.
But we're talking about 10% of the agents. 10% of the agents are not gatekeepers. They are relationship builders. They are professional they're real estate professionals. They deliver what they're supposed to deliver, which is making sure the property is priced correctly, making sure you have the right marketing strategies, making sure it's advertised and showed, and whatever avenues you prefer, you implement them, and that's what not gatekeeper will do.
Go ahead, Luz.
No, I don't agree with you. I do not agree with the statement that they only work for their self-interest. Of course, you have those agents, but majority of agents, and the 10% included, work for the client. They care about their client. They care about referrals. They care about repeat clients, and therefore they will produce everything possible for them as far as their smooth transaction and their service and their trust, their knowledge, education. They will appreciate it. So obviously, it's not a nonprofit organization. They would like to get reimbursed and paid for everything they are doing right now. However, I am convinced that majority of agents, and definitely the 10%, do it because they care.
So here's why I said sold on that, because I spend a lot of time talking to consumers to understand what their thoughts and feelings. And that Reddit comment is from an actual consumer out there, right? And so here's what I'm sold on. I'm sold on the idea that that is absolutely the perception that exists in the majority of people out in the world. That is why real estate ranked in a global study of trusted professions, real estate ranked below prostitution. Literally. I'm serious. Why? Because again, the perception that exists in the world is that it is a self-serving business, and it's not the agent's fault. It's because all of these different factions in the industry have structured it in that way. When you look at how it's structured through NAR, through the brokerages, through all of the different venues and inputs, it is structured in a way to restrict somebody from doing certain things that would actually be in the best interest of a consumer. So do I think that all agents are charlatans, all trying to make a quick buck? No, of course not. But do I think that the consumer perception has really changed into drifting further and further and further away from the core elements of trust and what's actually necessary? 1,000% yes. So I'm sold on the idea that that person's statement is reality. Why? Because perception is reality, and that's the thing that we need to overcome to have people be much more focused on the differentiation that they offer and begin to demand more, much more from NAR, from the places and spaces in our brokerages that need to be able to get rid of people that aren't doing anything, that are useless, that aren't properly educated, and that do not have consumer best interest in mind.
Agreed 100%. I always said that we have way too many agents. We have way too many realtors. So the house should be cleaned a bit. That's for sure.
I mean, at this day and age, it's literally, it's harder to become an Uber driver than it is to actually become a real estate agent. Like, and NAR will take, can you fog a mirror? Great, you're in. Welcome to NAR. Like, did you pay your dues? Oh, by the way, you don't have a choice because they're mandatory. So, I'm pretty sure that's not a violation of the RICO Act. But, let's just keep pushing that idea forward. It's just, there's no confidence left from consumers any longer that a real estate agent is a actual valued profession. It's not, because they know why, because they realize, hey, my neighbor, this person down the street, this person that I know in my office just told me I got my real estate license. And what do they think about those people? They're like, holy crap, I know that person, and I think they have a sign by their bed every morning that says pants first, then shoes, because I'm pretty sure they need that to get dressed, yet they became a real estate agent. That's the biggest problem, is that perception exists and it is completely false. But the reality is that is a big 90% of the agent population out there.
Yeah, it is unfortunate, and things have to change. And maybe what's going on right now is just the beginning. Well, I'm sure it's just the beginning, but I certainly look forward to changes that will bring real estate professional appearance and the way they are valued to a completely different level. And maybe we need to get rid of 50% of them. I don't know. Maybe um, definitely brokerages, which they're doing now. Some brokerages are already letting realtors go because they just want to have clean house. They would rather have less realtors, not all brokerages, but the ones I respect. I don't want to name them, but they do let they're cleaning up house. They don't want anyone with toxic ideas, with noise, with negative energy, with constant complaints. They want to get rid of them and have just the right atmosphere, which is so important, and the right chemistry.
Why is there no residential real estate college degree, Lucy?
It should be,
Oh, of
versus
course.
2-week class for $600.
Of course. But why isn't there one? Because that's not where the money's made, because the money's made in NAR and all of these MLSs and all of these boards and everybody else makes a metric shit ton of money off of making sure that they're the single source of truth for anything. And because you don't want to allow other people to have that type of a limitation, because here's why. If you had a college degree or a master's degree in residential real estate, well, don't you think that accreditation would then garner you more business compared to some schlub that just got their license because they watched $1 Million Listing? Exactly, but that's a dangerous space and place for all of these major players to actually have to think about. So just ask that question every once in a while when you think, well, why is it? Because there's too much money involved for people that aren't agents.
Right. And then CE classes, that's another example.
Oh, Lord, don't even get us started on that.
Yeah, that is also, you have to take that class, and they sleep through the class, but then they get they have to pay something, whatever it is, and get it. You are certified here and you're certified there. Yeah, it has to change. Agreed.